Joyce.
Hello, Debbie Cullinane.
How are we? We're back.
We're back with another one.
Yeah. This week we are diving into a topic that has come up for both of us a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to look at, is it just us, or did the 90s diet culture really have an impact on our body image and also on us?
Yeah.
And was it like that for you too? We'd love to hear from you. And we're just going to dive into this for ourselves from a personal perspective.
Yeah.
And then as mothers and as parents.
Yes. And I think off the bat, this one is probably like such a emotive topic, and for people listening to just like mind yourself listening to it, because we're talking about body image and food, and it's hard. It's a big one.
Yeah, there's a trigger warning, I think, in this one around eating disorders as well, and disordered eating. So just know that and mind yourself and listen if you feel you're okay too.
Yeah.
And we'll pop a few bits in the show notes of this one, I think, just to mind yourselves afterwards as well.
Okay.
So, the 90s diet culture.
What on earth? When you look back
I know.
to what was acceptable then, I saw some clips recently with, it was Posh Spice was on, I think it was with Chris, what's his name? Evans.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, now, come on now, step up on the scales here. You've had your baby. Let's check. Is it different before your baby or after your baby? I do to all my guests. And I was like, what am I watching? So he gets her to stand on the scales. Meanwhile, like, she's so thin.
Yeah.
And she's standing on the scales. She's like, oh, I don't know if I want to, and whatever. She protests a little bit. She makes excuses. She steps up. I couldn't watch. I don't know what happened next. I was like, I can't see this. But that was like Saturday night TV. What on earth?
And you know what though? With all of this, I think we have to come back to when we know better, we do better. And I try to just not be judgmental either around things that went on in the 90s. Even for ourselves, for our mothers, for our grannies. Like,
I know.
They didn't know any better. And actually, they thought this was health.
Yeah, and they thought like dieting and cutting back and all that
restricting
is how you be better or healthier. Or
and how you move forward. Like my granny is 92, and for the whole time that I know her entire life she has been on a diet. And my mother was a Weight Watchers lecturer.
She was the leader.
She was the leader. Yeah, so she would have went to Weight Watchers and did really well and lost 3 stone, because that's, that was the metric by success.
Yeah,
definitely was weight loss. Thankfully that has changed now. I think we measure in loads of different ways about how healthy we are, but yeah, so she would have lost 3 stone or 3.5 stone with them and then became a leader.
Okay.
So we used to go and clerk for her, take the stamps and talk to all the ladies that would that would queue up and come in, and my granny would do it with her, and then she would do a lecture every week. And like, I have to say, in her defense, she was really good at what she did.
Yeah.
And she did help a lot of women.
Yeah.
And women loved her.
Mm-hmm.
And she spent a lot of time like preparing her lectures and making sure that she had everything really clear, but it was a skewed version, I suppose. Just funnily enough, every single week at the end, so she used to do them all around Mayo, different classes, and at the end of every class she would say, she's got an English accent, so pardon my my imitation skills here, but she'd say, and good night ladies and good luck, and I hope to see a lot less of you here next week. And everyone would go
so funny,
and they'd all rock off.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And they'd be after getting weighed, so we'd go down, you'd see them all in the chipper.
Stop after the weigh-in.
Yeah, because it'd be like, okay, I have gotten the weight out of the weighing out of the way, and I'm gonna have my big treat after, which is well deserved.
It was literally all about the number on the scale, not number. Like what got body composition, like
nothing.
Muscle is heavier than fat, or like your own stature, or like. Yeah. Okay, it was just the number on the scale.
It was just the number, and that's I think the way they all were, all
Yeah.
the slimming worlds and all of those types of things, it was always restriction.
Yeah. And the aesthetic look of you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I remember, because I don't have any like familiarity with Weight Watchers or anything like that, but I do remember just from an early, like as early on, like maybe from 10, being very aware that you had to be skinny,
Mm.
and skinny was beautiful,
Mm.
or you weren't, you like, you know, you were failing in some kind of way, so stay as thin as possible. And then into the teens, like it was like, you know, that your hip bones had to be coming out, poking
Yeah.
out, and I
Thigh gaps.
thigh gaps and all that. And I definitely, like, it's not something that was a massive problem for me, but I was always very aware of.
Mm.
And then it wasn't until I was pregnant and had my baby that afterwards I was like, hey, my body. And that's when it's triggered all that stuff for me. So it
Yeah.
was a kind of a delayed reaction to it. At the time, I just kind of, I don't know, I don't think I was massively affected by it, but I was. I actually really, it was very ingrained in me
Mm.
that you're not beautiful or you're not successful if you're not thin. And then when I had a baby, I'm like, oh, this is another thing I don't like, or this is another thing I'm finding hard all of a sudden.
And did you feel like a bounce back pressure?
Yes, but not from anyone else. I think
Was
from
from
that
yourself?
ingrained piece
Yeah.
of like, this is what it is to be acceptable or female or some. There was, and I can only kind of look back and think it's because of how, you know, the conditioning nearly of growing up in that era, and who the people I looked up to even were the pop stars, and the things you're seeing on TV like was everywhere,
Yeah.
unavoidable, and magazines and all that. But it wasn't until, yeah, so when I just had Jack, and we were going on holiday, and I remember thinking, okay, well sure, like he'll be 4 months old when we're going. I'll be surely into my usual size by then. For goodness sake, 4 months, I'll be perfect. Like I'll be
Imagine.
back to my, and before I got pregnant, I would have been kind of the leanest and the fittest and healthiest I've ever been, because I was lifting weights with my sister in the mornings and like up at 6, like really really healthy, like a good kind of level of resistant training and Pilates and all that. I had loads of time, sure. None of that now, but yeah. So I kind of thought, 4 months I'll be back to myself. Yeah.
Imagine.
Uh, for what? I mean, I remember going off on a holiday and it was being kind of miserable, because I was like, oh, I have to like wear this, and you know, the shorts, and I have to get into shorts, and it really really got into me. And that's when I was like, what is this? Like, I didn't think I had a problem. I just gave birth. Why am I so hard on myself? Where is that coming from, you know?
Where is it coming from? And then another element on top of trying to deal with the fact that you just gave birth to a baby and have become a mother and haven't slept for 4 months and everything else that goes with that. And now you're like, I don't like my body.
Why am I not skinny? Like,
Yeah.
why is this not happening fast enough for me? Or like, I remember even saying to my mom, how long did it take you, and how come I'm not? But like, I was also breastfeeding and eating like a horse. Like,
Yeah.
just, I mean,
But
I kind of wish that like the therapist part of me, and they're like more, you know, I suppose compassionate part of me is like, I wish I had been just like, no, you just gave birth, it's okay. But the truth of it was that I really struggled with it and wanted desperately to just get back.
yeah.
And that if I did get back, I'd feel better. And something would be a bit more in my control, or like, what is it,
Yeah.
you know? It's just, yeah, it really is.
And anything to do with that sort of thing, it always is about control. Do you know, if we're
Yeah.
looking at anything to do with disordered eating or restrictive tendencies, you're looking at your body in that way, like it does come back to the control element of it.
Yeah.
But I just think it's so hard because we grew up with it. Isn't it just so hard to change that mindset?
Yep.
That's literally part of your composition now,
Yep.
to think like that.
I know.
And we do things to try and change that and have it shift in different ways, but it's really hard to come out of that.
Oh, it's incredibly hard, because it's like I've never had any other modeling or any other, you know, as in that was the only thing that
That
I
you knew.
saw. And I know there's amazing campaigns now and stuff with different sized and different color. We didn't have that
No.
when we were being conditioned. So
No.
I didn't know any, it's very difficult to break out of that. And I think, like, I'm glad it came to my attention in that way. And I can think about it now when I bring forward into the parenting part, because a lot of we talk about breaking patterns, but it's often about like, not shouting at your child or like changing how you respond to their emotions. But this is a pattern that I want to break.
Yeah.
A generational cycle. It's not just about how we respond to them. It's like, whoa, there's a piece now that I don't want to be labeling bodies or, commenting on other people's appearances, and just there's a whole thing there, isn't there, to bring forward, like.
Huge. And it's definitely for me as a parent of both a boy and a girl, like, so it's not just about the girls either.
No.
I think we really need to know that this can impact the boys as well as much as
yes.
the girls. But I had, and maybe a lot of you listeners would know, but since I was 15 I have struggled with eating disorders. And like it has been really difficult at times, and it has been better at other times, and I think honestly it's the best it's ever been. But I still, like, those thoughts still come.
Yeah.
But now they're thoughts and they're not actions.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
You know, the thoughts can come and I can go, okay, I notice you, go away to hell.
Ta-ta now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they still do come. And like, that's me being so honest. It's not like, oh, every day is a breeze now and I eat intuitively. Because to be honest with you, I don't even know what that means, really. No, and I'm being genuine here. Like, I know everyone's talking about intuitive eating and all that. I'm trying to tune in.
That's a hard one.
But it's really hard. And I'm trying to get my children to do that as well. But it's still very difficult. But it's something that it has never been in my house, the language of it. So they don't even know what being on a diet is.
Good.
No, but they've never even heard the phrase.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
How different, like how amazing for them.
Yeah. So like, I know a lot of people say you shouldn't use the treats and it should be sometimes foods and any times foods. We do use that sometimes, and then we do use treats, and but we're trying to do it where they're not like this big, you don't gorge at the weekends. It's just like if we want something any given day, we have it.
You can have it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like anything is off limits, and I think that's a nice way to do it. But I really wanted to be an "it ends with us" thing.
Yeah.
To steal the Colleen Hoover book phrase.
Do I know that phrase?
But there are things that I'm like, okay, it ends with us. My daughter is, or my son are not going to see me stand in front of the mirror and bash myself.
Yeah.
Or hear me saying I hate a certain part of my body that I would never show. Or this is a particular one as well. You know, you get a photo of yourself and you look at it and you're like, oh my God, the state of me.
I know, yeah.
So that's one that I really try not to do, because I'm always like, oh, that's a memory. And I will look back on that picture in a few years' time and go, oh, do you remember that? And I won't give a crap what I look like, to be fair.
Yeah.
When you look back at old pictures of yourself and you thought you were a state at the time, and you're like, oh, look at me there.
Look how young I was.
Wasn't I lovely? Not a wrinkle on the face.
It's always the way, though.
But it's something that I don't want the children to look at pictures of themselves and go, oh, look at the state of me, or look at my arms, or look at my tummy, or picking at themselves.
Yeah.
Or like I would always be like, if they're getting, the bit going up the sizes in the clothes, like, you're getting so tall, you're getting so strong, look at you, like, and not even telling them the sizes that you're buying. We have this big thing, and it actually starts at babies. He's already in 6 to 9. He's already in 12 to 18, and we all do this, and that's obviously, we're not meaning any harm to it, but we'll say you have a child who is taller or might be bigger. I think it's just to note, not to be saying to everyone, oh, she's already in 11 to 12. Like, for a child that might be sensitive to that, we are really bringing their attention to it. So we don't have to tell people that as such,
Yeah,
and the size of your clothes to fit you.
Yeah, and it's also like, I remember growing up and seeing the magazines and the things on TV and being like, wow, and this is how you have to be. But they've now got the social media element of it, the online, the Google, the like it's really in your face, isn't it? Like, so I think, yeah, they don't need to hear it from us, or if we can just, as parents, just be that bit more aware of how we're, yeah, like respond to our own picture or what we're saying, you know, even as babies, like, oh, he's a pudding and he's this and that. Like, we kind of do comment on how
I know.
their bodies are, how they look immediately.
Yeah.
We're just reeling that in, I suppose, a bit once they get older, especially.
Totally. And I think it's an intergenerational shift. I hope that might come as well. The commenting. Like, the commenting is huge. And I do think we definitely have more of an awareness in this generation to not be commenting so much.
Do you mean on other people? Or like,
yeah. Those are the things that stuck with me. People coming into the house and being like, oh, you'd be doing well to keep that one fed.
Oh, stop.
Yeah. Oh, she's a fine child, isn't she? She's a fine girl, that one. And like, it stuck with me.
Of course it did.
I ended up asking my mother when I was 10 to go on Weight Watchers.
Did you want to go on?
Yeah. Now, I had... I'm laughing. I had put on a good bit of weight at that point when I was 9, 10. And my mother didn't know what was going on because she was like, I'm feeding you really good, healthy foods, like, and everything. But she didn't know at school. One of my friends used to get 6 chocolate buns in her lunch every day. 6 of them. As her lunch. And I used to swap her.
Oh my God. You'd swap her.
So I was swapping her my little cheese sandwich and my apple for the 6 chocolate buns. And my mum, of course I was, because I was like, this is clever. This is ideal. She wanted the sandwich, I wanted the buns. And my mother was baffled.
6 chocolate buns a day.
What's going on? And I've always had a really decent appetite as well. So, like, I would be able to put away a good shot of food. Like I love food. I love eating. But I had put on the weight, and then I didn't like it. Because people were commenting on me. And then I started to become aware. And then I was like, oh God, I am fat. That's what I was saying to myself.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be. So I was like, can I go on Weight Watchers? And
did you go on Weight Watchers as a child?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Whether right or wrong, I did. I got out my little book and started counting my points. And the weight fell off me, and sure, everyone told me I was lovely.
Gorgeous. You're lovely, and you look
you.
so well.
You look so brilliant, and you look just like your sister now. My sister was always lanky and slim and everything, and I thought this was great. I thought this was the best thing ever. And then as I got into my teens, for whatever reason, it spiraled into bulimia and anorexia, controlled teenage things a lot. Look, we'll never know why.
Yeah.
Exactly, but then it was lifelong.
Yeah, and now you're...
Yeah. Do you know, and it's hard. Sometimes I feel like I'd love to know what it's like to not have an eating disorder.
Yeah. But I think what you've said there, like, you've summed it up really quickly in a little sentence or two, but that is I don't have the words for, like, how awful that experience is, and that you're like, it's still there. It's still, when I talk about ingrained, like, it's still a part of you in that way, and how hard that is, like how impactful it was. I just think you can't actually put words onto it, and that's why we're having this conversation, really, isn't it? Just to be like, it's beyond explainable how impactful it is and how hard it is to deal with that and to feel that way. And to not be comfortable to have something to eat, or to feel guilty, or to be cutting back, or to be constantly not liking your body. Like, that's just a turmoil.
Yeah.
That like, no one needs to be living in, like.
I know, and it's still, hard every day. I'd have to be like, okay, will you eat the food? I have to actually be like, have food now. Come on.
Yeah.
And even, like, it's more of a habit now. And it's really good, and like, I'm great. I would never go really low or restrictive now, but I still have to tell myself to do it. It's not second nature to me. Do you know what I mean? And it's just something to be aware of, trying to ensure that our children don't have this mindset.
Yeah, because it's more than like a hang up or a,
Mm.
it's so much more than that, isn't it? It's so complex and so profound, that ingrained piece of like I have to be this way or my self-worth kind of dissolves.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah, oh my gosh, a
And
huge piece.
yeah, and like no matter, I don't know, throughout the years, no matter what size, it was never, happiness never came with the smaller.
That's the interesting part. Oh my god.
Ever. You know what? I'll feel really good when I get
If
to
I
this.
just get to this number
Yeah.
and then the number comes and you're like, well, it's the next number now, or
Yeah.
yeah, there is
So
no,
it's
because
just,
it's an absolute cycle, isn't it?
it is. And
It's
I
not
don't
the
know.
real problem. Like it's not the root of the issue, so it's not going to be
No.
solved with the number because the number isn't the problem. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
And we would, like, I love this idea now of teaching the children to fuel. Like,
fuel
your
up your
food is
body.
your fuel.
Yeah,
This is what's getting you through. This is what's
yeah,
making you stronger. This is what's giving you energy. You know,
yeah.
I love this. This is why, you know, you're getting so strong if they're doing their different activities. And this is how, you know, you do get better
You
at
have your
things by,
energy for
yes,
you're so
giving
fast. You know.
yourself the correct fuel
Mm,
to get yourself through. But it's not about calorie counting. We really want to try and be mindful of not going down the route of the calorie counting with the children. And it's actually annoying because it's on the front of some things.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's on a lot of things, isn't it?
it
Really.
is. So, like, you know, if the kids have asked me about it, obviously, and that's just the amount of energy it's going to give you.
Mm.
So even on my daughter's jelly pot that she would have at school, she loves them. It says on the front of the pot 9 calories, like it's only a tiny little thing. And she, you know, I came up as to what it meant, and I was like, well, that's just a tiny bit of energy, but you enjoy it, so it's okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't think of that as in
mm,
on kids' foods or things they're eating. They're like, "What's this cal thing?"
yeah.
Yeah, and then they're becoming aware of it straight away. But like, what's your thoughts then on like if you mentioned intuitive eating for us or like us trying to tune into our body and fueling up and all that, but then like a child is like we're like finish your plate, like eat
Yeah,
it up, get it all into it, like finish your plate or you're not having whatever. Like that's where I I
that's
lived in that, and like I was a really
no.
picky eater. And like now I eat anything, but like I must have driven my parents absolutely mental. And I remember being like, they tried everything. Like I remember them being like, okay, well, you know, you're so slow at eating. I was really slow. I would just like pick at things and then be like, I don't like it, and oh, but they were like, well, we're all going in to watch whatever,
I
like
know,
EastEnders or I don't know what was on. Um, was it like probably Glen Rowe or something actually?
probably.
And they'd be like, we're all going in to watch this and you're going to miss out. So like, come on, finish up, finish up, finish up. And then I wouldn't be able to. And so I would listen to them and they'd be inside and I'd be like, oh, whatever. So I just like play with my food and stuff. And one of the days I'd thrown spaghetti at the wall and everything. Like I'd made a big mess.
You little
And
pup.
I was a total pup, but what it didn't do was actually make me eat up faster because I wasn't able to. And I was actually a really tiny little slip of a
Mm,
thing as well.
yeah,
And I don't know, did I just not need that much food or maybe more kind of snacky type things would have helped me. I don't know. I was getting enough.
and
I was
and
growing,
that would be intuitive in itself.
but that's the thing. I'm like, so we're actually like we need to allow kids be intuitive if they're saying like, no, I'm full. But I haven't had my baby now, and when he won't eat his dinner, I get like a breakout in hives. I'm like, he needs to eat something. Like, and like he's refused the spag ball that I made him, and it's all on the floor. But I'm like, he had two mouthfuls, and then I start getting anxiety. I'm like, he's gonna be up all night. Well,
I
then I'm like,
know.
well, I give him something else. So I take out something else. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this because now I'm pandering to him. Like, you know, I'm not going to make 10 dinners every night, but there is, like, as a parent, that, for me anyway, that kind of anxiety of, like, just get something into them and
Mm,
make sure with the, like, I feel better knowing he's had a good feed.
yeah.
So that's that's what was behind my parents, I'm sure, and other parents when they're like, finish your plate. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to know you're full. I just want to know that you're like that's my job is to nurture you and feed you. And I just want to feel that you've had enough and then I feel better. But
Mm.
actually it's like if the child is saying I'm full, should we be listening and going, okay? You know, and that is a hard one. I don't know the answer
I
actually.
know. I think it's a whole.
I
It's a
don't think
whole.
we'd be,
We could
you
have
know,
14 podcasts on
I
this, and you'd
know.
still be looking at picky eaters. And I think I don't do that. Finish your plate thing. Um, only because it was such a thing for us. It's like, if you finish it up, you'll get something nice. This was always the thing.
Yeah, same.
You know?
Like, yeah.
Yeah. And I just try to go, you know, if one of them is saying, you know, I've had enough. Now, my son has been a picky eater. We'll get into that in another podcast, I'm sure. But I try to go with the, your body is telling you that you're full, you've nearly had enough. I believe you. Okay. And, you know, I don't do the carrot on a stick. We have something nice after dinner every day anyway. So, because I just think that has its own issues with it as well. Or sometimes I'll just be like, okay, your body's telling you you're full for now. I'll leave it here, and you might have some later.
Yeah. I might come back to it for a nibble.
Yeah, exactly. But there's, here, like, I've definitely forced them to eat things and not forced them to eat things and done all sorts of things.
Yeah, you
but
try anything with you.
You're only doing your best. You're doing good enough.
Yeah.
As much as you can. I think as they get older, you can definitely listen to them more. When they're babies and toddlers, I think you do really feel that responsibility to get food into them. And I think we always need to come back, whether your child is neurotypical or neurodiverse, to like, fed is best.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, fed is best.
Whatever
so,
they have.
We can't judge parents on what they are feeding their children, because if your child is only eating one particular thing, then you are going to feed them that thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's that
to make sure that
like,
they're fed.
I feel like it's a biological need in us to know they've had something. And even if that is, it's whatever. It's the same food every day. It's the bland food. It's the beige foods. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's there. And everyone can go to bed and know that we've had a feed.
Exactly.
And nobody's hungry.
Yeah.
You know.
And they'll grow and they'll change and they will, hopefully try different things, and we try to get them to play with it and do all sorts of things with it like that, so they experience the sensory exposure and all of that. Which is great. But yeah, it's a very difficult one. And I remember when my little fella was a baby, he was a devil, that fella. But I would try him with different things, and he would close his mouth and I'd touch the spoon off it. And if it was anything other than Liga and milk, he would like,
glued shut, yeah.
And then he'd taste the Liga, and I mean,
oh,
really,
the mouth
like
hanging
so
open.
wide.
Yeah,
I'm like, look
so
what you can do with your big wide
Wow,
mouth.
you can
You
open your mouth.
love this. You really like the taste of this. And he did. And we had a really rough few years where he would barely try anything. And now he does try different things. We've started trying him with peas lately. It's too funny. And he like takes them, like he pops them in and like takes them down like a little tablet. But he's like, these are good for me. These are going to help me to be a really good footballer
A pea
and
tablet.
to be really strong. And or he'll pile them up all on the spoon. And he's like, I want to eat these. He's like intrinsically motivated to eat them because he wants to be strong. And he has a dream of being a footballer. And we have, taught him that, your vegetables are so important if you want to be strong and be fit and be healthy. So he wants to eat them because he wants to fulfill those dreams. It's not because I'm forcing him to do it. I'm putting them on the plate and leaving them there as an option.
I suppose as well, if he sees you eating them and daddy's eating them or whoever, I think there's a lot of that in the modelling as well. It's like, and that's if we can eat together and kind of share and like even say like, oh, I don't like that yourself. Like it's normalising some things we don't like, but I might try it. I know I'm not mad on it, and just having those kind of conversations. Or I remember when I first started feeding Jack food, like actual solids and stuff, I was saying, well done, great, when he'd be finished the plate or whatever. So I switched that out to just, what did you like best? You seem to like that. So I'm trying to train myself to not be like, oh, well done, good boy, you finished your plate today. Like, I want to see a clear plate every day. I'm just going, oh, you seem to really enjoy that one. Which was your favourite? He can't speak.
No.
But I'm practicing because I know I'll be going into this habit of just being like, well done. And it's not about the clearing up the plate. I'm trying to take the focus off that. But do you think it will be different for this generation when it comes to body image and stuff? Or like, is Instagram intercepting what we're doing? Like, because by the time they're having a phone, it's all there. It's all
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's
And I think this is going to come around to another episode that we definitely will do about protecting your children online,
yeah.
as to what they engage with and as to what they have access to. Um, I don't know the answer to it. I think the times have changed so much, but I do think that certainly, like for my personal experience with children that are 10 and 9, they are so happy in their bodies, and they don't, like, they just think they're class. Like, they think they're lovely, and that's the way I want them to always look at themselves like that in the mirror and go, wow, look at me.
Look how strong I'm getting. Look how tall
Yeah.
I'm getting. Yeah. And
Look
the focus isn't on.
Yeah, and your weight isn't your worth.
Yeah. Oh my God. If that's all they get out, like, I mean, that's
Absolutely.
a message.
Yeah. It's not your self worth, the amount you
or
weigh
your
on a
clothes
scale,
size or anything.
or your clothes size, or what you look like.
Yeah.
Like, your beauty is your soul and your inside and what you project into the world. And I do believe that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about your size. Like, I love that little bit in it's in the Twits, I think, about, you know, if you're ugly on the inside, no matter how beautiful you look, it will project out. But if you're beautiful on the inside, it doesn't matter if you have a crooked nose or or a big bum or whatever, you'll just be beautiful to everybody.
And it will shine out of you.
It will.
It's so true.
I love that. And that's really what I hope that they get.
Yeah, but I think, like, when I asked you that question, you know, is it different or will it be any different? I think you've answered it because you were like, you know, all I can do at home is, and that's the same for anything. Like, we can't control what our kids are, like, subject to, or what happens, or how their life unfolds as much as we'd want it. But actually, when we have those values at home and do our best, you know, we're not perfect, Jesus, but, you know, you're doing your best to, that your kids think they're class and they look in the mirror and they're happy with it, then that's the resilience piece that they'll have if and when there's hard times and they're seeing other people or other friends are even suggesting, I'm going to lose weight, that they go, oh, good for you, but I'm not, I'm happy out. Do you know, like, that it kind of bounces off them a bit more when they have that really good foundation at home. And that's all we can do.
That is all we can do. And, like, the modelling behaviour is big. So, like, in fairness, my husband's great to be going, your man never stops exercising, so he's great. And this is what they see. And I try to get my workouts in, or, you know, I'll go walking with my sister, or we'll get a bit of air to help ourselves to feel good about ourselves. And modelling that and trying to bring that into their lives as well will help them to have stronger bodies and feel better about themselves.
Yeah, 100%. There's even studies on that. The more parents who work out, their children are more likely to be healthier and to work out, or to, you know, do a sport, whatever it is, as well. So it's like that's kind of monkey see, monkey do stuff, isn't it?
It is. It's all back to the mirror neurons that they're going to remember. Like, I still remember my dad used to play indoor soccer when we were small, and it's such a weird memory, or it's like a sensory thing, but I used to love the, like, when he'd come in, he would, like, smell like the indoor court, and there was such a, or the indoor soccer ball, and I remember that, and it's so clear to me that he used to go and mind himself doing the thing, and it would be his time out, and he'd love it. And sometimes I go and watch, and I would really like that element of it. And then on the other side, you know, I did watch Mom do every diet under the sun, like cabbage soup and restriction and not eating and fasting and all of these kinds of things. And one thing I will say that I'm trying to incorporate in as well is I sitting down with them and I eat the same dinner. Because I would be devil for a sandwich now. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I'm not a dinner person. I find that hard.
Like, it is hard.
I'm still not like
you're sitting even. I try to a few times a week. Like, I'll have things that we all like and that we all eat together. And then sometimes if I'm not having it, I'll be like, I'm just having this today, or we might have different things, but still sitting down and eating at the same time is lovely as well.
Yeah.
Because it's just such a social thing.
Yeah, and I know it's important, that part of it, but I think it's like I know it's not that simple or not that easy always to, like, eat what your child is eating, or to model having the dinners like that, whatever your history is, or you know, if you are feeling like, well, I am on a diet, actually, I'm not going to eat all the potatoes with them, but like we have to weigh that up as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Potatoes get such a bad rap as well. Potatoes are great food.
I know.
You know, I'd be sitting there eating a sandwich, like, and all of this, and the potato would probably be better for me at the end of the day.
And would you go for the sandwich just because you're not mad on
I, I, I prefer
the
sandwiches.
Same.
I prefer bread and meat and salad. And I would have a really good meal out of that, like, no bother to me. But now lately I've started having, like, the turkey burgers, potatoes, carrots, peas, broccoli, sweet corn. We bring a load of veg in.
Nice.
And I actually really enjoy it. Bit of pepper sauce. Off you go.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's tasty. And then we'll have stir fries, fajitas, curries. I love all of them. But it's good just to vary it up a bit, I think. And then even noticing them if they're not in the mood for something, well, that's okay too.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, I suppose it's being flexible, where it's not like you have to finish your plate or else. It's like, no, I'm flexible in it. Okay, you're not feeling like that tonight. Or, oh, well, you loved the lasagna last week, but, you know, you hate it now, do you? Okay. Like, that we're not like, you have to eat it, or, you know, we're bringing, I suppose, the emotional charge.
The emotional charge to it. And that's what a lot of people would say about the picky eaters. You know, don't try not to bring the emotion. Now, look at all of this is easier said than done. And good enough is good enough at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We're all trying to do our best, but it's like find your way for you and find your way for your child and mind yourself in it.
Yeah, because I feel like there's maybe like even triggers or baggage residue from the 90s or whatever that not aware of, like that haven't come to the surface yet. Like that's what was happening for me a bit.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that could potentially spiral a bit if I hadn't kind of caught it and went, what the hell is this about? That I wanted to snap back or, you know, get my body back, and now I'm not going to restrict my eating. Like I could have went down a rabbit hole there and then been doing that in front of Jack or berating myself. You know, it's just like, can we catch ourselves and reset on it a bit?
Yeah, I think that's what we really want people to go away with today, is kind of becoming a bit more aware, thinking about it, catching yourself, seeing maybe if you're using language around the kids that you would like to change.
Yeah.
And seeing if you can make small changes and maybe chat to your partner about it as well if it's something that things do come up today that you're like, oh, actually I do that and I didn't realise.
Yeah, exactly.
It happens for me so much. I'm like, I did not know that I did that and now I know I do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Amazing.
That's it for today. We will put a little bit in the show notes of this just in case anybody is triggered. And if you have any comments or anything, pop us the email. Is it justuspod@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe.
And thank you for listening.
Thank you. And good night, ladies, and good luck. I hope to see a lot more of you all next week.
Healthier
Healthier,
you.
Bye, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.